This is the 28storms.com Cyclone update for this Monday, the 7th of November. We will get to what is occurring in the southern hemisphere in just a moment, but we're going to start off in the Arabian Sea where the U.S. Giant Typhoon Warning Center has issued a tropical cyclone formation alert. The latest shear products from the University of Wisconsin continue to indicate that the upper level wind environment over the eastern half of the Arabian Sea is favorable for development over the next 24 to 48 hours. That upper level ridge is still located right over and just to the east of our developing tropical disturbance, with an upper level trough located well to the northwest over Saudi Arabia. The tropical disturbance is definitely on an organization trend right now. Convection is developing closer to the more than likely closed low-level surface circulation, and once again this is the water vapor animation, and given the favorable outflow pattern in all quadrants of the tropical disturbance, upper level conditions do appear favorable for at least the next 1 to 2 days. However, notice that the trough over Saudi Arabia is continuing to slide more toward the southeast, and the hope is that the trough is going to induce some more wind shear, dry air, and thus some weakening shortly before this system reaches the coast of Oman. This is the latest ECMWF model sea level pressure forecast, and I know this may be somewhat difficult to read. So this is the country of Yemen, and just to the north this is Oman, and over here in the Arabian Sea this is our 1005 millibar surface low, and the European is seeing the favorable conditions, therefore it deepens the low a little bit more down to 1004 and eventually 1003 millibars between 72 and 96 hours, but by day 4 it's starting to weaken. And thankfully by day 5, it may be more so because of the trough coming down that the system begins to weaken rather significantly, but we can still anticipate a good fetch of moisture originating over the Arabian Sea and working its way into Oman. And as of right now, it looks as though the strongest rainfall will narrowly avoid Yemen, where just 5 days ago we were dealing with a prolific rainmaker with Tropical Cyclone 3A being nearly stationary right along the coastline. And we still can't rule out that possibility with this system just yet, but as of right now the model consensus is taking this a little bit more toward Oman and then hooking more toward the northeast in the general direction of Pakistan in a significantly weakened state. Now switching over into the southern hemisphere, it still looks like the upper level environment is still just too unfavorable for any development close to Australia, but there are some indications that we could see a little bit of tropical mischief a little bit more toward the east into the South Pacific. This is the latest ECMWF forecast, and we really don't see much in the way of any tropical mischief over the next 5 days. However, as we go into day 6 and day 7, notice over here close to Fiji we begin to see signs of low pressure forming between 850 millibars and the surface, and it becomes even more present as we work our way into 192 hours. So this is 8 days away, and that's really far out, so this is subject to major change. But this could be the first area to watch here in the southern hemisphere for any sign of tropical cyclone formation. In terms of the upper level environment, once again we have been dealing with just a lot of strong mid-latitude westerly flow, which is typical for this time of the year. But as we evolve over the next 5 days, it looks as though the pattern is going to relax just a little bit, and those westerly winds are going to retreat a little more toward the south, and that is going to give us the possibility to have a little bit more upper level ridging begin to develop over the southern Pacific, and that will at least create a slight chance of tropical development. What gives us a little bit more added confidence is the fact that the European ensemble mean is also beginning to pick up on the idea that the surface pressures will at least begin to fall just a little over the South Pacific. We are seeing the pressure down to 1010 HPA as we go into day 5, and this persists into day 6. The latest day 7 precipitation and sea level pressure forecast from the GFS model is also alluding to the possibility of at least weak surface low cyclogenesis just to the east of New Caledonia and fairly close to Fiji. So although the tropics still remain fairly quiet, we have a couple different areas to keep a close watch on. More specifically, the tropical disturbance in the Arabian Sea that does have the potential to impact some interest in Yemen and Oman, and of course the potential for at least a minimal tropical cyclone development into the southern Pacific as we go into days 5 through 8. So keep it tuned to 28storms.com/cyclone. We will have another video no later than sometime tomorrow.